Visual aids help so much. Thank you.
Alright folks, how you doing? So I just thought I'd make a quick update video about the virtual tours that I'm going to be shooting for Leonard Cheshire in the next few weeks, and give you kind of a quick summary of what they are and what they're going to be based on. So the first one that I have in mind is Linlithgow and the Union Canal. Now Linlithgow was historically the capital of West Lothian. In fact, this area was once called Linlithgow Shire, named after the town. Nowadays the capital of West Lothian is Livingston, but historically speaking it was Linlithgow for a good long while there. And it has a long history going all the way back many hundreds of years. Linlithgow Palace was the birthplace of Mary, Queen of Scots. We've got the loch, which is the largest natural loch in West Lothian as well, and it's a very pleasant place to go at the weekend or to visit in general. It's very ancient, and you can feel the age of the place. It's very quirky as well. Like lots of flats and things are where people live are out of the way. I mean, this was a bit of a headache for me when I was delivering down there as a courier driver. You got all these strange addresses which are up these little wines and alleys and things like that, but that just adds to the charm of the place overall. I mean, it goes back many hundreds of years to before even the Scottish Wars of Independence. Those of you who've seen Braveheart and all that sort of thing. In fact, there was a battle at Stirling that Linlithgow even. There was a battle at Linlithgow after the Scots' defeat at Falkirk in 1298, according to Henry the Minstrel, who was the biographer who wrote about the great deeds of Wallace. So I'm looking forward to covering that. This battle, which is largely not officially recognised, but I believe it happened, I can tell you that. Now, as for the Union Canal, that was built in the 1800s, to transport materials into Edinburgh as it was expanding, because it was no longer kind of self-sufficient. It needed materials like coal and resources to be transported into the capital. The canal was built for that reason, because the energy needs and the material needs of Edinburgh, because it had expanded so fast, they really needed materials to be brought in from the outside. So that's why the canal was built. It wasn't used for very long for industrial purposes, because the railway came along and kind of made it irrelevant. But nowadays it's used for cyclists and walkers, dog walkers, fitness enthusiasts. You always see people running along the path, and it's a very picturesque, beautiful walk for the nice weather like we're having right now. But this is Scotland. Wait 10 minutes and it'll start raining. Just a little joke there. But it's a lovely walk. The canal stretches for 30 miles, I believe, going off memory. It's about 32 miles. So I won't be walking the whole length of it, but I'll give you like a snapshot of the canal, and I'll talk about the history behind that, because it ties into Scotland's kind of industrial growth and things of that nature. And it's just a pleasant walk. Overall it's just a lovely place to take a walk. And in fact, in Linlithgow they have the Union Canal centre, where you can rent out a boat, and go on a barge down the artificial river. Need to do that sometime. That would be pretty sweet. The second virtual tour that I have planned is Cairnpapple Hill and Torfickan. Now, I made a previous virtual tour on the Declan Law incident with Bob Taylor. I've still got the book back there, UFO Scotland. I'll need to get more of his books, in fact, because it kind of deals with the supernatural and the paranormal. Well, Cairnpapple is like this Neolithic site. You could almost call it kind of like a temple, and it's kind of like one of these places that's like an onion, like layer upon layer. It's a Neolithic site. It goes back thousands of years into prehistoric times, and I had a friend years ago who was a Wiccan. I'm a Presbyterian. I don't really know what a Wiccan is. It's kind of like a modern version of witchcraft or paganism, something like that. And she was very drawn to that place. So that was that was pretty interesting. It's a good view from up there. You can see right across the River Forth, and it sort of lines up with different parts of Scotland as well, you know, going all the way up into the Highlands. In fact, you know, it was a site of importance to pagans and Christians, and it's just a fascinating place. In fact, if we're lucky, we might even see a UFO when we're up there, because I'm sure I read somewhere that there was a lot of kind of UFO activity in and around Cairnpapa, which, believe me, I'd be the first one to believe it. I wouldn't be surprised at all. So I guess if we're lucky or unlucky, depending on how you look at it, we might see something not of this world up there. But mostly all you see up there is the cows grazing in the field, unfortunately. But the place does have a lot of history. I mean, it goes all the way back. And, you know, I would describe it as a temple myself, actually, even though I'm not pagan. But there you go. And below Cairnpapa Hill, it overshadows the tiny little village of Torfichan, which was home to the Knights Hospitaller here in Scotland. That was one of their centres, the Torfichan Preceptory. You know, that goes all the way back to King David I. I remember reading that. I go there quite a lot. I love that place, you know, and it's only has a population of like 600 people, 500-600, something like that, you know. But don't let the size fool you, you know. Even a small village can have a big personality, and I think it does. And it's a beautiful little place. It's kind of tucked away in the countryside. It's surrounded by all these farms and all these fields and stables and steadings and all this sort of thing, you know. And it does have quite an aura to it, you know. It does have quite a feel. Now, the third virtual tour that I have planned is the Shale Trail. The trail is a 16-mile walk through the heart of the West Lothian shale oil industry. The trail kind of goes through the Almondale and Calderwood Country Park, so we'll be going back there, and it flows through lots of kind of towns and villages here in West Lothian, like Uphall and Broxburn where I live, you know. And it's a good walk as well. It goes into, I'll be going into like the whole history of like the shale oil industry here in West Lothian, because I've talked about it before, I've kind of hinted at it, you know, I've mentioned it in ways, but I've never gone fully into it before, like in any sort of depth. So we'll be going into that, you know, in that virtual tour. So anyway, summer has just started, so, you know, I wish you all a very pleasant and happy summer. Take care. I'll see you next time.